K-pop sees hip hop is very comical, to say the least, because they see that wearing cornrows, box braids, do-rags, posing in a certain way, moving in a certain way, and trying to act quote unquote gangster is part of the hip hop culture. Now, by all means, I may not be the right person to talk about this, and I am not a good Samaritan at all, but this is something that I have noticed as I've been a fan of K-pop since 2010, because I noticed that K-pop sees hip hop as more of like a comical genre rather than a culture, and thinking that hip hop is all like rap songs and gangster stuff. It hurts me to say it. And the way that K-pop sees and treats hip hop really aligns with the quote that was written by hip hop icon KRS-One in his book, The Gospel of Hip Hop, The First Instrument. They seek the hand and not the face. They seek the luxury but not the culture, the food but not the appetite, the house but not the home, the medicine but not the health, the bed but not the rest. Majority of the time, K-pop uses what is shown on a surface level from hip hop and uses it as their own for their content, for their music and all of that. But most specifically in rap songs, which we have seen in the YG leaks of the trainee videos. Now, the whole YG leaker thing is a whole crazy situation on its own. I don't want to talk about it, but I feel like most people would want me to talk about it, and I have to dive in. But that's a whole different topic. Because the main videos that caught the most attention were the three BLACKPINK members, Jennie, Rose, and Lisa, rapping rap songs, to say the least, that contained the N-word, and not only that, had those three members say the N-word, like fully say the N-word for the evaluation. Now, here are some different ways to see it. The first way of looking at it is that they all could have known what the word meant, but still said it anyway, because Rose is from Australia, Jennie's from New Zealand, and Lisa's from Thailand, and all those countries have English as a pretty prominent language, so it's likely that they might have known what the word was and still said it anyway in the video, which is obviously not very good. Another way of looking at it, and this is not me defending them at all, but they might have not known what the word meant, because at the time of recording those videos, they were very young. They were still trainees. They came to Korea at a very young age, so they might have not heard about the word. Like, for example, I didn't hear about the word until I was like, I don't know, 13, 14, when like Vine was popping off. That's where I first heard the word from, like Paige Kennedy, King Batch, D-Storm, from all of them. So it is possible that the members might have only seen the word as a lyric that they needed to sing for the trainee video. However, that brings me to another way of seeing this, because they could have known what the word meant. They could have known what the word is and didn't want to say it, but were forced to say it because it was part of the evaluation, part of the training, a part of the song. Because like when you're a K-pop trainee, you need to follow the rules. You need to do what is said to you in order to debut and reach your dreams and becoming one of the top artists in the world, all of that. But you have to say it. You have to say it for the evaluation. Otherwise, if you don't say it properly, you're going to get in trouble and you might get kicked out and you might not be able to become a K-pop idol. Thing is, BLACKPINK trained under YG Entertainment, and YG Entertainment is one of the big three companies in K-pop, and they are known for their hip-hop style and identity. But if you have that hip-hop identity in a very, very big form of entertainment, you should be well aware that saying the N-word is not for people that are not of African descent. Because the N-word was used towards African Americans when they were slaves, because the N-word was seen as a word for people that are like lesser than human beings. The N-word was basically white people giving black people an identity that they never wanted. That's why only people of African descent can use that word, because if any other person uses that word, it seems like it's said with violent intent. Like how in 2018 at a Kendrick Lamar concert, a white woman was singing a Kendrick Lamar song that had the N-word said repeatedly, and she said that word repeatedly, but Kendrick Lamar told her to stop singing that. And why did he do it? Well, he said, I've been on this earth for 30 years and there's been so many things a Caucasian person said I couldn't do. Get good credit, buy a house in an urban city, so many things. You can't do that, whether it's from afar or up close. So if I say this is my word, let me have this one word. Please let me have that word. And that is just one example from many cases. So people that are not of African descent should not use that word. And that's why it's so exciting to see YG Entertainment possibly forcing their trainees to sing such a word when they're not supposed to. Because like I feel like the whole mindset of rap K-pop trainees is be like, oh yeah, be like Drake, be like Kendrick, be like J. Cole, be like all of them. But being a rapper is not like being like an African American. Unfortunately, I'm not surprised by any of this, because YG Entertainment tends to, seems like, encourage the artists to culturally appropriate African culture. Like for example, Precious Hyunsuk arrived at an award show in in some sort of braids, box braids. I don't know how to describe it. I'm not fully educated on African hair, but he styled it in a way that he shouldn't have, because like the way Africans style their hair, like with braids, box braids, cornrows, and all of that, it was once again to create their own identity and individuality from what is trying to be normalized. But that's why if someone that's not of African descent tries to style their hair in that way, it's like you're taking away that identity and individuality that African Americans try to fight for. And the most recent case of a K-pop idol styling their hair in this specific way is Kiss of Life's Hanu during a live stream, and the live stream was Julie's birthday party, and the birthday party theme was hip hop. And looking at it now and during the live, it was just one big humiliation. First of all, Julie earlier in her career already apologized for saying the N-word because he once again said the N-word during a evaluation video under YG Entertainment. There's a bit of a theme here. Most of us fans thought that, okay, she learned her lesson, she knew what she did wrong, so surely she wouldn't do anything else, right? Right? But during the live, she said, in a certain accent, and I quote, "Lil Taco Bell be flirting with my man, and that is not a bestie." And then there was also a clip of Bell moving in a certain way, repeatedly saying a word that I still don't know what she's saying. I have no idea. I think she's, like, a lot of people saying she's saying puta, which means horse in Spanish, but instead of horse, you just take out the S and add a W at the start. And then there was Nati dressing up in quote-unquote hip-hop style, and she even showed a photo of what inspired her outfit, and when she was showing it, Julie fully said, "Yeah, hip-hop." And of course, Hana with the way she styled her hair. And not to mention, Julie grew up in Hawaii and Belle grew up in Seattle, so they were well aware of what they were doing. So well aware that before the live, Belle fully said not to understand the group because of what they were gonna do. Like, imagine being so self-aware that you are self-unaware. Did that sentence even make sense? To say that this caused an outcry is an understatement, because after this live stream, they have lost over 100,000 followers on TikTok. Plus, there's a plethora of posts from Kiss of Life's fans stating their frustrations and disappointment with what they did during the live. Because imagine this, right? Imagine I did a live stream and the live stream was themed K-pop, so I wore a hanbok, dyed my hair in a colorful color, and I said stuff like, "My jagia is not kenchana." I would be crucified. Like, I can't deny, I've been a fan of Kiss of Life since debut, and I've watched BLACKPINK rapidly grow as I grew up, but seeing things like this does upset me. And the worst part about everything, all of this, these two situations, is just the tip of the iceberg of how K-pop sees hip-hop. There's been so many cases, so many performances, so many stories that has happened that has really put a mockery on the whole hip-hop culture. And for the most part, the way hip-hop has been perceived and presented through K-pop is from awkward to downright insulting. Because hip-hop originated in the Bronx in the 1970s, where there was an economical collapse, an increased rate of crime, and also poverty, which caused a lot of white middle-class people to move to the suburbs. And that consequentially made a shift in demographics and a segregation of communities. So during that time, the streets of the Bronx were filled with people expressing their lives, the hard times, the struggles, the music from DJs and MCs, and people breakdancing on cardboard sheets. Hip-hop was pretty much fueled from frustration, hard times, alienation, using a creative outlet to express their struggles. So when K-pop idols try to act or be hip-hop in these type of ways, it's just downright insulting to what the people went through during the birth of hip-hop. Like, yes, you can listen to hip-hop, you can rap songs, you can be a rapper, but as long as you're respectful and understanding towards the culture of what hip-hop is.